Oh, the Masons.
Where's my, I don't want my picture on here.
How come I catch this?
Is this how it's supposed to be?
Not normally.
Roberta. Today.
You ready, Sid? Yeah. Everybody ready? Good evening, all. Welcome to the town board meeting, November 8th, 2021. Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman O'Neill.
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
Councilman Fairwell.
Here.
Councilman Waterhouse.
Here.
Supervisor Melino.
Here. Okay, we'll open the floor to the public for anything on the our resolutions. If anybody has any questions, please state your name
Raise your hand if you do.
and raise your hand if you have any questions so we can get it to you. I'm going to try to move the viewing camera as people talk until we can resolve the problem that we all get on. Anything, Mike?
Anybody want to talk? Raise your hand.
How many people got on
34.
there? 34.
Oh, somebody's up. Let's see who it is. Corey Walsh from New York State DEC.
Hi, this is Corey Walsh. I'm not sure if this isn't comment specifically on that, the resolutions, but I'm just here to talk about, answer any questions the board might have about the water connection at Lake Luzerne Campground. I don't know when the most appropriate time to talk about that would be, but I'm here.
He's with the connection from
Yeah,
the Lake Campground.
It's all right. All right, go ahead.
So I submitted the connection request to Ron. I've been working with Ron for a little bit. I understand that you guys had an opportunity to take a look at that. And then what the information I got back from him is that the town wants some sort of an agreement that DEC would be responsible for any costs associated with maintaining that service connection. So that memo has been put together. Ron communicated that memo is together and is being reviewed internally right now. So I guess at this point, we're just waiting for that to get approved for the DEC, and then I can provide that to the town. And then at that point, I presume that we're okay to proceed with getting our contractor in line and getting the construction scheduled.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was just concerned with the going under the road, that we were paying for going under the road.
No, we're not paying anything.
Okay, good. All right, super.
No, we're paying for everything.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Once you get that memo to us, do you think you'll have it ready to start now, or are you going to start in the spring?
No, I think right now we would be in the springtime, but you know, depending on weather dependent, it's possible, but it's likely spring.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Nope. Do we need a resolution to accept all this and get them going? No?
We can't do anything.
I can hear what you said.
Can't do anything until we get the piece of paper.
And get the memo?
That's right.
Okay. Get us the memo, and by next week, we'll move forward.
Yep, as soon as I have that memo, I'll forward that through Ron, and I'm sure he'll be able to route that through to you guys.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Gene, just so you guys know, they're gonna put a 2-inch line underneath the road, connect over on the side, and their meter's gonna be over there.
I thought there was a hydrant supposed to go on the other side.
The hydrant's on this side, Harris Grocery side. All right,
Okay.
so, but they're gonna word it, so if there's anything happen underneath the road, they're gonna be responsible.
I was just gonna say that.
All right,
Put the meter on the other side and break the phone.
yes, okay, before it goes into their campground.
Why wouldn't you put it on the side?
We don't do any service that we do, we don't put it on the other side.
Okay.
It's always on, right before it goes onto the property. Yeah, yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, right, move on. Anybody else?
Oh, yep, Howard Schaefer. You're up, Howard. Just unmute yourself. There you go.
How's that? Is the volume okay?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you for your time. I know there's a lot on the agenda. The question I have, and I don't know if there even would be an answer at this point because it's still current, but as you know, the House and Senate voted this bipartisan $1.2 trillion for the infrastructure plan that we'll be learning more about in the coming weeks. Is the town looking to proactively collect a piece of that for whatever might be needed in the town of Lake Luzerne?
Yeah, well, we're working on that. We actually, Tracy emailed me about the going after some of that money, and she sent out letters of to Dan Stack and a few of the other officials to get them behind this, all the support we need to get that grant money to get the this water project going.
Good. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, doesn't look like there's any other questions on the resolution, so we'll move forward to start with the resolutions.
Okay, first, resolution authorizing payment of monthly vouchers of the 11th abstract for November is filed in the office of the town clerk, Lake Luzerne, as follows. General fund number 27905 to 27947, 27990, 27991 in the amount of $25,948.47. Highway fund 27948 to 27978 in the amount of $100,935.39. Lake Luzerne water 27979 to 27985, the amount of $3,759.50. Trust and agency number 27989 in the amount of $3,762.50. Now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay the monthly vouchers approved and identified herein above from the 11th abstract for November 2021. Is there a motion?
I'll second it.
Councilman Lewandowski, Councilman O'Neill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 5-0. Resolution authorizing renewal of employee health insurance plan. Whereas the town board of Lake Luzerne has reviewed options for health insurance plans for covered town employees, and whereas the town board of Lake Luzerne has determined that it is in the best interests of the town to renew the current plan offered by Yeager and Flynn. Now therefore be it resolved in accordance with and pursuant to resolution, the supervisor is hereby authorized to take the necessary actions to renew the current employee health insurance plan. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councilman
I'll
Waterhouse,
second
Councilman Lewandowski. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. A resolution authorizing reimbursement from Warren County for youth recreational activities. Whereas the town of Lake Luzerne has and will continue to provide youth recreational programs within the town during the calendar year 2021. Whereas the town has sought reimbursement from Warren County for $1,625 for the implementation of said youth recreation programs. And whereas Warren County has agreed to reimburse the town the amount of $625 within 30 days from submission of a voucher from the town. Now therefore be it resolved in accordance with and pursuant to resolution, the supervisor is hereby authorized to take necessary actions to sign the Warren County reimbursement agreement and submit a voucher for reimbursement in the amount of $1,625. Is there a motion? Councilman O'Neill. Second,
I'll second.
Supervisor Merlino.
Cindy, what we didn't, the only thing we really did was the lifeguards, right?
Yeah.
We didn't, that was put in there.
Lifeguards.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't do the youth program, but it's gone into the lifeguards.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. A resolution authorizing Supervisor Merlino to renew agreement with Countryside Veterinary Practice. Whereas the town of Lake Luzerne has an existing agreement with Countryside Veterinary Practice to provide services pursuant to Article 7 of the Agriculture and Markets Law, and whereas the agreement between the town and Countryside Veterinary Practice will expire on December 31, 2021, and whereas Countryside Veterinary Practice has provided the town with a summary of the 2022 fee schedule, and whereas the town desires to continue to use the services of Countryside Veterinary Practice through the calendar year 2022, now therefore be it resolved in accordance with and pursuant to resolution, the supervisor is hereby authorized to take necessary actions to enter into an agreement with Countryside Veterinary Practice to provide services to the town pursuant to Article 7 of the Agriculture and Markets Law for the calendar year 2022. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Councilman Waterhouse, is there a second?
Yeah.
Councilman Lewandowski. Discussion?
How much is it worth? How much is this agreement worth? Cindy?
Michael, did you review that?
Yeah, it's not a set amount, it's a fee for usage.
Hmm.
And so the fees,
I think I gave you the fee schedule at a previous meeting. The difference this year is they've added a $250 administration fee, and a couple of the other fees are slightly higher.
You know how much we spent with them last year or this year to date?
It's not us spending, like it's people that lost their dog.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. We just want to make
We
sure.
haven't had this administration fee before,
Right.
but for the most part, the fees are charged to us and charged to the owner of an animal that gets
Gotcha.
picked up and taken.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0. Resolution authorizing Supervisor Merlino to renew agreement with Mountain Medical Services. Whereas the town of Lake Luzerne has an existing agreement with Mountain Medical Services to provide drug and alcohol tests pursuant to local, state, and federal rules and regulations, and whereas the agreement between the town and Mountain Medical Services will expire on December 31, 2021. Whereas Mountain Medical Services has provided the town with a summary of the 2022 fee schedule, and whereas the town desires to continue to use the services of Mountain Medical Services through the calendar year 2022. Lost the rest of that. Now therefore be it resolved in accordance with and pursuant to resolution, the supervisor is hereby authorized to take necessary actions to enter into an agreement with Mountain Medical Services to provide the town pursuant to local, state, and federal rules and regulations for the calendar year 2022. Is there a motion? Councilman Lewandowski, second. Councilman O'Neill. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0.
We have any, architects,
Yeah, we gotta put it out there.
Oh, I don't know.
we had the, you don't have any of that, sir?
They don't have that.
Yeah, but-
I thought we did
You
that.
told me. Yeah, I got it.
Did we do, the one for the, ambassadors? Did we do that already?
I don't think we did because that was on voucher we just signed. We just looked at.
You know,
We need one for that.
you know the total price then? You got all this?
I know it's in that. I don't care that.
I got it. It was $600 and some total for all those vouchers. So everybody knows what it was. We also have one for the Luzerne Chamber of Commerce. That's for insurances. It's $620.34. That covers all the events that the chamber has all year long, which is the policy that we have. $620.34.
Did we determine, Gene, I know you were gonna check into it, whether we can cover their insurance as part of the OC tax? You said you were going to, and we had talked about it before.
You know, I'll tell you, I have.
Okay, I just don't want to do something that's gonna get us in trouble, that's all, because there was discussion before that wasn't covered. That we had, so I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but
We'll have to hold
Well,
this off.
if it's not covered, then we can't have any event.
We've been covering it for years, so I don't know if it's changed or not changed.
I don't know. I'm not saying that you haven't covered it. I'm just asking, because when we called the county, remember I told you we called the county to try and get some clarity. And they said there's a lot of things that can be covered by OC tax. Some you'd have to you put in their regular budget. So, I'd love to see it covered, but I want to make sure we don't get ourselves in trouble
All right.
by spending occupancy tax the wrong way.
I did not do it with all the turmoil in my own self, it's my fault. I did not do it. But I will call tomorrow, definitely. We'll have to just put it off right now until next meeting.
Okay. That's gonna cause a problem, but that's fine.
But you paid it, right?
Mhm.
It's paid, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't leave us much money for the stroll.
Can we approve it, Gene, that if you get the okay that it's covered, that we can pay it,
I'd
or?
like to do that, so it's all right with the attorney. to do that.
Because if not, we can't do much for the
Approve it.
stroll.
I'll
Pending
talk to
approval.
Mike Paul tomorrow to let you know for sure.
Okay, I
But if it's
appreciate it.
not, we're gonna have to figure out something else then.
Well, we'll have to figure out something, but we have to have the insurance, so.
Yeah, well, let's vote the whole next year too. All right. I will make sure I take care of that.
Can we approve the money for the stroll
Yes.
instead of the insurance? That way we know for sure that they're covered.
Well, that's what I was gonna use. That money, because that wasn't in the budget or isn't in our money, so I was gonna use, because we already paid for that, I wanted to have that money so we could use that, plus we only got a couple $100
Right.
left, that's it.
What's the stroll cost? Traditionally,
Um,
that's down to the dollar, of course, but
It's gonna be about $1,500. Anyways, yeah,
so you're gonna be short anyway, with the 6 plus the couple hundred that you have, you'll be short.
no, because I already took some of it off, like Bobby Dick and them, I already figured it.
All right.
The important things I already took off.
All right, so we'll wait.
Okay,
I'll get
you
this
can let me
answer.
know.
I'll get this answer tomorrow.
Okay.
now we'll go to reports.
We got some resolutions too, Gene, just a couple things here. Dan, you got number one? This is the one to purchase Colleen's software that she needed, that she sent the email over to us for her payroll, accounting, payroll and financial systems. That quote that we've been talking about for a few months. I'm not sure if you were here or not, but
How much is it?
Not to exceed $30,000.
I think the quote that she circulated was for 28 and change, if I remember correctly.
I think that's-
But it hasn't been updated in like 12 years or something like that. There's so much stuff she said she can't do. So it was number one on her priority list when we talked before. So I don't know where everybody stands on it, but I just put it together and
Same software. Then we used for 20
Is it the same one or it's upgrade?
This would
There's
be
no
an
more-
upgrade.
There's no more upgrades after that.
Right, they
That's-
don't, they're not back in that software. Okay,
Need a motion to approve that?
you want me to read it?
Okay.
Resolution authorizing the purchase of accounting, payroll, and financial system software for the town of Lake Luzerne from Harris Computer Systems in an amount not to exceed $30,000. Whereas the town board of Lake Luzerne desires to update the financial accounting, payroll, and financial system software for the town of Lake Luzerne, as no updates have been purchased or installed in over 15 years, and whereas the proposal from Harris Computer Systems is attached, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of Lake Luzerne hereby authorizes the supervisor to purchase the accounting, payroll, and financial services software from Harris Computer Systems with a spending authority of up to $30,000.
I'll make
I'll make it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0.
See these go early. What did we get them today? There's another one here.
So as part of I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, guys, as part of ladies, part of the committee report is being on the tourism. The snowmobile club approached me looking for the town's blessing to connect the Saratoga County Snowmobile Club with Warren County through Luzerne. And Hadley's already signed off on it, but they're asking us just to give them permission to use the stretch of 9 end in between where Molly's used to be and where the trail comes out across from Danny's place. So that would be a vital link in getting down south. And it would also be great to get the snowmobiles coming up into Luzerne and further enhance our tourism in the winter dollars when, it's very tough for everybody to make ends meet. So there's that resolution.
Resolution authorizing a letter from the town board of Lake Luzerne to the New York State DOT in support of using the bridge over the Hudson River on Route 9N from Hadley to Luzerne to connect with the Warren County Snowmobile Trail to the Saratoga County Snowmobile Trail. Whereas the town board of Lake Luzerne in support of travel and tourism for the town of Lake Luzerne desires to issue a letter to New York State DOT in support of allowing the bridge over the Hudson on Route 9N to connect Warren County and Saratoga County snowmobile trails. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of Lake Luzerne in support of travel and tourism in Lake Luzerne hereby authorizes the issuance of a letter to New York State DOT in support of allowing the use of the bridge over the Hudson on Route 9N to connect Warren County and Saratoga County snowmobile trails. Is there a motion?
I'll make that. But
Second.
I have a question. What if they turn you down?
Who?
New York State?
DOT is fine with it. They said, Gene, they just want us to be on, us and I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
They're informed of it.
Correct.
Mike, I'm not familiar. After they cross over the bridge, where do they pick up the trails over on the other side?
Make a right and they go right down and up onto the railroad tracks.
In other words, past the golf course.
Correct.
At least that way.
Yes.
Not familiar. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0.
Okay, well. Guys, you want to make resolutions or? What's that? You have anything to add? No, it's up to you guys.
Next resolution, as stated, the resolution terminating and eliminating the position of deputy supervisor in the town of Lake Luzerne. Whereas the town of Lake Luzerne desires to terminate and eliminate the position of deputy supervisor in the town of Lake Luzerne. However, to be resolved, that the town of Lake Luzerne hereby terminates and eliminates the position of deputy supervisor in the town of Lake Luzerne.
Effective when? When was this discussed? I don't remember discussing any of these resolutions.
I'm reading what it says. I don't know, I would imagine immediately or the first of the year.
And that has been, I don't know, I don't know. When were these discussed? Were they talked about at any time in a workshop or anything?
No,
Did you see these? Did you write them up?
So I guess you tied out for a discussion either to make a motion, make a motion a second, we have a discussion on it. I need to proceed or table it. In terms of, I guess, if you're talking about when a discussion has been had, or if you can have a discussion, this would be an opportunity.
Is there a discussion on it for a reason why we're doing this or
I
suggesting
think we
this?
need a second. I would say we need a second person.
You want to get a second, somebody to second it?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
All right, we got a second. How about discussion? What's the reason?
Current deputy supervisor, no offense, ma'am, but she has no backing up here, none. She has yet to fulfill any councilman position whatsoever.
I don't have to.
I don't think that's not a position that's it's authorized by the state of New York. So you're saying that we can't use what the state tells us to do.
the state of New York specifies, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not correct, and Mike can verify this situation, that the supervisor appoints anybody he would like at this stage of the game. Due to the fact that the town of Lake Luzerne initiated this, okay, as a town law, it does not have to be a state law, of having a deputy, okay, we can also eliminate it.
Well, when the town doesn't have a law that I know of, because all 8 years of Larry Bennett, he had an outside person, not somebody from the board. I do recall that Fran Eggleston also had.
Mike, would you
Sure.
express your views on
The
it?
legislative body creates and terminates under law. We have no law that instituted the deputy supervisor position. It was just by resolution. If it was done under a town law, it would be a different story. It's up to the town board to decide whether they want that position or not. There's plenty of other towns within New York State that has eliminated the deputy supervisor position, the town of Montgomery being one of them. And there was a few in the Catskills, and that's what we'd like to do tonight.
I think that should come up for a discussion or a public hearing.
That's what we're doing.
No,
It doesn't require it.
no, we should let the people figure out what we want to do and what we don't want to do.
So
up
who
to-
would take over if something happened to the supervisor?
The town board would appoint his replacement. It would be the same thing. If God forbid something happened to Gene where he couldn't fulfill his supervisory position, you would go in
Right.
up until the point where the town board either appoints somebody else, or you permanently. So it's just a very temporary, it could be 30 seconds. That's just town law. That's under town law. So you believe it or not, like it or not, that's the way it is.
Right.
Well, the supervisor appoints the deputy. So what what the town board essentially can do, they can't remove the deputy supervisor, but they can eliminate the position.
Correct.
And so that would be the distinction, I guess, that from my perspective, is that if the resolution was to remove an individual from the position, that's the role of the supervisor, is to eliminate the office of deputy supervisor. That is something that can come out by resolution, and if Councilman Fazio is saying it was enacted by resolution, then it can be eliminated by a resolution. If it was enacted by local law, it would have to be eliminated by local law. So if it was put into place by resolution, then a resolution would be the legislative enactment to remove the position.
I'm set against that. I don't think it's, it's something that's been in this town for years and years and years. I don't understand why we're removing it now.
Well, it's time to vote.
Well, we're still discussing it.
Just saying, it's,
I mean, it's personal against me, that's all it is. It's personal. They don't want
Well,
me
it's not-
here.
They said not to take effect to the first of the year.
Yeah.
so
no,
Yeah, okay.
no, we didn't say that.
It's gonna be right from the time we vote on it.
That's how, unless it's phrased otherwise, from what I understand, that's what I was saying.
I think this is just another political ploy
Mhm.
to hurt this town. And I think some of this stuff has got to stop.
I don't see.
These
what-
resolutions are being made without any kind of meetings. I don't remember coming to any of them to discuss these. So I mean, if you're bypassing myself right now and just holding the four gentlemen to make a decision, I think it's unfair to the taxpayers. I really do.
And why is the attorney writing some resolutions and not
Yeah.
all of them?
Why don't you have them ready? So that I could read them earlier. I mean, what's,
Or
this
Cindy
is
can.
all becoming backhanded stuff. Maybe next month there'll be a different story. I won't be here, but right now I'm here.
Mhm.
And I'm here to the end of the year. You cannot take my deputy away from me. You want to do it from the first of the year?
We can.
I could concede to that.
You don't have to
I don't have to what?
concede.
Huh?
You don't have to concede to it.
Because they're gonna vote me out.
I just think it's not right. And I think we should have been advised. We got an attorney on staff. Are they working for just a certain amount of people, or are they working for the good of the whole community? It just seems like a lot of this stuff is discussed in other places.
But hold on, that's an allegation.
Well, I know it is, but it's true. I don't know nothing about this.
I guess if you're insinuating that I'm not representing the town board as a whole.
No, I'm not insinuating. I'm just saying, should this all be discussed as a team?
Right, I can't, I guess, lay out how you discuss the resolutions and decide the resolution. If you're saying that this is something that should have been discussed in the agenda meeting,
Right.
you'd like, to table it, to have further discussion with the town board. That's, within your prerogative to put forward within this discussion. Right now, there's a resolution.
But that's my point. Where did it come from?
Gene, councilmen are allowed to write their own resolutions. Am I correct?
A resolution or a motion can come up.
Right. And before this year, we never even had agenda meetings. You, for 14 years, you were a supervisor, you never had agenda meetings. All resolutions were proposed right like they are tonight. So don't go back and say that we're trying to pull underhanded stuff. This is how it's always been done up until this year, when we changed things around, got a different attorney, Mr. Mitchell. That's when we started doing things like you're referring to as happen forever. That's not the case, and you know it as well as everybody does.
Well, I just think that on the foresight of this is November, you got one more month. It could wait till the first of the year.
I'm not speaking for
This
everybody.
seems to me being a ploy to eliminate my deputy.
It's not a ploy.
Well, if you can't wait one more month, it's a ploy to me.
You're entitled.
You can, make a motion to amend the language to, put a date on it. You can make a motion to table it for discussion in the agenda meeting.
Well, the motion, I'll do that, to discuss it at the agenda meeting next month, but will I get a second?
So, all right, what do we want? You want a table?
I'd like to table it to discuss it at the agenda meeting next month, but I need a second.
I'll second. I'm done.
So that's table. Is there anything else?
Oh, we gotta vote.
Table.
Oh, we gotta vote.
Got to vote on your motion, just to table it.
Okay. I
Full roll on the vote?
Councilman O'Neill,
No.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Abstained.
Councilman Waterhouse,
No.
Councilman Fazio.
No,
Supervisor.
Yes.
Three noes, one abstain, one yes.
So the table is lost, so it stays as the agenda, the resolution.
But you're still in the discussion.
I still
No use
disagree.
fighting, Gene, we're not gonna get anywhere.
No, it's not the idea. It's not just for you, it's just for general principle of anybody.
It'll come-
Even next year, if I happen to be supervisor, then I have a resolution, I can't point a deputy. I just don't.
We'll see if,
it's right.
yeah, whoever has one next year.
What's happening in this now?
So the resolution was made, it has not been tabled, still in discussion.
With
And
the
so-
original.
Yep, and so it'll either be a motion to amend or to approve it as presented.
to do roll.
Calling the vote.
Yeah,
Original.
you can, unless there's, motion to amend some of the language in it or any of the terms, it would just be a vote on it as presented.
Well, I'd like to amend it, but is it gonna pass? I don't know. I mean, I'm worried about the precedent that we're setting here. What's next? Take away the deputy road superintendent? Or deputy water superintendent? And that's just as easy to do that also.
Gene, you're the one that made the change for political reasons when you fired Dan and appointed Pam. This isn't not about Pam. This is about your move. You fired Dan after 15 years of being a loyal deputy because he did the right thing. That's exactly
Let's not
it.
get back into politics.
Well, you
I've
just
had
said it was,
enough of that.
did you just say it
I've
was,
had enough of that politics stuff.
you blame
It's because
politics.
Gene-
You blame
it's because
politics.
Dan said
Yes, you
that
did.
he sat on his hands and didn't know what his job was. That is exactly
I
why.
was
he appointed
disappointed
me.
in Danny because that's the comment he made. He didn't, you know,
Again,
but I'm not holding it to him personally.
You fired him.
You fired him.
Come on, Ron. Call a spade a spade. You can't call it one way and not the other. I think we have a roll call that needs to be done.
I'm not a person you're gonna bully, Mike.
I'm not bullying.
Just end it. All right,
Okay, all right.
you'll have your way, you have it, it'll be fine.
It's not my way, it's our way.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's your terminology.
I think it's your way. Leave it set. I can't change it and we'll vote on it. So vote on the motion.
Councilman O'Neill,
Aye.
Councilman Lewandowski. Councilman Waterhouse.
No.
Supervisor Rooney.
No.
Carried 3-2.
All right, anything else?
I don't. You have a copy of what you just did?
Oh, sorry.
Paul?
Oh, yeah.
All right, move on to reports. Councilman O'Neill.
Nothing.
Councilman Lewandowski.
No, sir.
Sorry.
No.
Councilman Thacia.
Nope.
Councilman Waterhouse.
I met with, well, three of us met with Ronnie this week for that salt, the brine maker. And the guys that he brought down really sold. I mean, I think it's something we should consider. I mean, they're saving, they said they paid for itself in 1 year. I think it's something we should really consider. Ronnie, get that stuff together for next month.
I got all the quotes right here. I can put them in your boxes if you want. Or just put the one in there that I recommend that we go with.
Did you show it to King yet?
No, I didn't know nothing about it.
No, he's been out sick, so it's just the guys from Town of Lake, we went up there and talked. They came down and talked about it. Same stuff.
Yeah, the guys from Stony Creek. I guess they got the same machine.
And I sent to that email about the salt summit. It's in your thing if you, I'll send it to you too.
All right, thank you.
The thing they had at Fort William Henry.
All right, so you'll have the stuff ready for the next meeting.
I got it ready right now.
You want to vote on it now?
Sure, rattle it off, I think you don't mind.
What's that?
What'd you say?
I said, sure, rattle it off if you don't mind. I mean, your time's up, right?
Well, you caught me off guard, all right? I got 3 different quotes. I got AccuBatch from Cargill. I got a quote from Voight Innovation, which is the same one that Stony Creek has, and they mastered it. That's the one I'm recommending we go with. That one is $26,750. I got a cheapie here from Turbo Tour that is like 10 grand. It's made of plastic. I can recommend it. Cargill is hard plastic too, and that one's about 31,000. Then I got a Henderson, which is cream of the crop, and that's like 50 grand. Okay, those are the 4 I got. Here's the one I recommend that you go with.
I guess the county one.
No, Voight Innovation.
Why don't you explain a little bit about what the county,
Ron, isn't that the one that Stony Creek has, and it's basically all manual valve instead of all this electronic?
No, it's got the a panel on the side that tells you when it gets to the 23.3%. It's not very manual. You just, the guy's gotta go out and turn 2 valves and it redirects it. Turn them back and then it remits it again. It's very, some slim simplicity. That's what we're looking for.
Right.
And that one's, they've already had a year and a half, 2 years on it. They got it down to a T. The one from the Warren County, that thing's over 100 grand. And that's on a travel trailer.
We're talking about borrowing it, the problems we're having with borrowing.
Borrowing it, the only thing I see in that is it getting damaged, used, neglected, and, you know, I don't think it's a good thing.
It's going out to Washington County.
Yes, it's going out to Washington County, and there's other towns that are gonna get involved in this, and it's gonna be hard to get, all right? So other than that,
And then when you get it, it's broken half the time. Right?
Yeah, we had to do stuff
we
last
had
year.
to, we had to, do something with the compressor, because they had, that was an add-on, and it wasn't right, air lines freezing there, because some of the doors are activated by air. So it's an excellent machine when, when it's running up the park, but I just feel the more that we get into this, the better we get at it, we're gonna need to make our own quicker. Yes, I got holding tanks, but we get 3-4 storms, we're gonna blow through it. We're using 700 gallons just on one run.
What line you gonna take it out of your budget?
The salt, this year's salt. If we need to, I'm not sure exactly what I got in there, but I got plenty in my equipment fund too. All right, if you want to pass that picture down to whoever hasn't seen it.
One storm would go to about 2 storage tanks.
If I can get to the point where I can grind the whole town, it's, how many gallons we figured? 11,000
One,
for the whole town,
no, it's almost 6
almost 6,000.
for the whole town. And then we have,
We ain't gonna get to that point until we get another applicator. But
each storage tank's 3,000, so 2 tanks are gone. We have back-to-back storms, there goes all our storage.
if there's any more questions that someone has, and if I can't answer, I can call them guys from Big. They're the ones that got this rolling because they're in the Lake George watershed. They get a lot of grants. That's how they got all their equipment. They're big on this brine and they're big on the live edge plows.
You said something the other day about $10,000.
We get 10,000 from the county. With that,
Said it.
I haven't thought of what I'm gonna do with that yet, but we can buy plow blade, carbides and stuff. With that, I haven't really thought, but I can incorporate that money into this too. We need to.
No, I know I said this to you earlier in the year, but did you go through and make up a wish list for next year?
I will.
You need to do that because you keep hitting us with this quickly.
Yeah. It's not gonna be very bad. We're doing good. We're doing good. And I appreciate every bit of it.
Yeah. But I think if you had a wish list, that we'd be a little more prepared for when you drop this on us. 'Cause it's 20.
Well, I should have brought this on the month before, and it's my fault. I'm so busy with finishing up our blacktop and everything, I didn't even think of that. So, yes, I will get the wish list to you. I'll put it in your box.
No, not just week, every 12.
Okay,
All right.
like I said, any more questions on this? If I can't answer it, I'll find the answer for you.
I think the gentleman that you brought down,
They're good, they're really good.
very explanatory of everything.
Yeah.
I think we got.
They've got a GPS, I think in every truck that they use. I mean, it'll tell you where the truck is, how fast it's going, how much it's laying down. And I also got to upgrade my program on computer, because we can, in these retro spreader controls, we can go and download that onto my computer, then I can print out everything that we put out, and I can keep track of it from now until whenever and how long, so. But they got GPSs on the little phones that sit on the dash, take pictures of the roadway that drive on it. Yeah, they got it all up there.
I think the other big thing with this is it's environmentally friendly.
I went up in the middle of winter last year, and there was not one speck of sand on the roads, and I was amazed.
Yeah, I was amazed that Hicks didn't put any sand down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
I'm
only
I'm
place-
hoping someday, I'm hoping we get there.
They
But
said
this
the
is
only
the
place
start
they
of
use
it.
sand and salt basically is on dirt roads.
Uh,
The only time they use not the brine is on dirt roads.
The only thing they would need for their program is to Excel. Ours isn't up to date to,
on the computer, Excel.
you put it, flash drive in, it pulls all the data off the heads, put it in and bring a full spreadsheet out about every truck, how much they use, and the only truck, we only have one truck that doesn't have it, and it's the oldest one that we have. All our new trucks, every other truck besides it has electronic control in it, that we can pull the information off of.
Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I can go ahead and get that one for 20.
It's
Give
26.
a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried 5-0.
Are we on the reports? That was Danny's report.
I think Gene has one first.
Well, I'm gonna go last.
You're gonna go last? All right,
I'll go next.
I got the attorney first.
Oh, I'm sorry. The only thing that I have is, was brought up in the last, regular town board meeting about, opt-outs for the, marijuana dispensaries. And, in order to opt out, the town would have to pass a local law, opting out prior to December 31st. So if that's a direction that, you know, the town wants to consider or go the route of opting out, we want to get the ball rolling on that so that we could notice it for public hearing, get the local law put together. And it is subject to a permissive referendum as well. So it's, in essence, it's kind of being postured to not make it more difficult to opt out, but to encourage not opting out. If you fail to opt out by publishing or by passing a local law before December 31st, you're in the program where, in essence,
We don't have to do anything unless we want to opt out.
So you want to have a public hearing at the next town board meeting in December, and then we can vote on opting out or not?
No, I guess what I would say is if the town board feels like they want to go the direction of opting out, then we should start preparing the local law to opt out. And along with that, we'll be having a public hearing. If it's not something that the town is considering opting out of, then there's no need for it.
So we should make that decision now.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions, any discussion on that?
I have a question, Mike. I was reading if you opt out, that you don't get any sales tax, obviously. Is that sales tax within the whole county of counties that opted in? Is that removed from your sales tax too, or just what would be obviously not generated within your town?
I know the county shares in the sales tax in it. I don't know if each municipality within the county gets a piece of the sales tax or not. My understanding was, I think the county gets maybe 25% or something along those lines. So I think it would have to be, my understanding was that it would have to be within the municipality, so sales that occur within the municipality. So I would say it's fair to say from that if you opt out, you're not going to be receiving the sales tax from it.
That's kind of what that's.
That's the way I understand it. So our discussion here is whether we want to opt out or just leave it alone. Because if we decide to opt out, then we have to prepare and have a public hearing on the next board meeting. We don't, if we decide to not do anything, then we don't need the public hearing.
I say we let it ride.
What do you mean by right? Not opt out?
Not opt out.
Because we can opt out.
We can opt out at a later date,
No,
but
no,
Once you're in, you're in.
once you're in, you're in.
Okay.
then I say we stay in.
We could always regulate it through the planning and zoning board to make sure it's where we want it to be and not across from the school or whatever too,
There are
right?
certain things that you can regulate, there's certain things that the state has preempted
Mhm.
on. But yeah, obviously, things like the site still has to go through any types of land use boards. or anything like that. Like I said, there are certain things that the state has regulated that the town would not have the ability to make more restrictive.
Thank you.
Okay, so you made a motion to not do anything.
Correct.
Do we get a second on that? Dan? Call roll?
Councilman O'Neill,
Aye.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Aye.
Councilman Fazio,
Aye.
Councilman Waterhouse.
Aye.
Supervisor Maliu.
Nay. Anything else? Mr.
Carried
Perry?
4-0.
Ron, now you're up.
All right, last week was fall cleanup. We got that done. I don't believe we missed any money. We finished up the shoulders on the mountain road and also got it striped. I think it looks excellent up there. And today we put in a new service tab for a lot on Fenway. And tomorrow we have a valve swap out that we gotta do on Ivy Church. The church by the Reed Park, it's Sullivan Extension. And then we gotta pave the cross culverts on Hartman Loop. And then we will be dressing the trucks for winter. So with that said, I would like to know the board's opinion on getting rid of the uniforms. I talked to the other department and Rick was all for it. And I believe the way that we should do this is as they bring in the receipts, they get reimbursed. So there's no just giving out money, $500 for them to get whatever clothing. They bring back the receipt, they show it and turn them into Colleen. I just want to know what the board, how you feel about it. Yeah, both departments that would like to get rid of them. We are not in a contract right now. I called them and asked them. But they're looking to have the paperwork, lease agreement signed. So,
And you're looking at, you said approximately $4,000 to $5,000 in savings by doing it this way?
yeah, right now I'm paying about $8,500 for this year. And if we did 500 first year for each guy, they get their 5-6 pairs of pants and their boots, we would save $4,000. The following year, we lowered to $400 each person, and then I would save about $4,900.
Why would you lower it?
Once you get established with all your things. You know, I mean, if someone wears out 4, 5 or 6 pants in 1 year, they're working awfully hard.
Either that or they got greasy in the other thing.
Or,
Well, what's really getting lowered is the maintenance. You're not paying somebody to wash them, to deliver them and all that stuff too. So that's a huge savings there.
yeah,
It's just the service.
and anytime they lose weight or gain weight, they change pants, there's a charge on it every time they do that. So that's where we are with that.
But Ron, when we talked about it last week, the attorney weighed in, Mike, about certain standards that have to be met for what we're going to reimburse. Have you thought about that for whether it's steel toe boots or hard toe boots or anything? We're just going to reimburse for anything and everything? Or is there certain standards of safety that need to be met to keep us from being in the responsibility eyeball of things?
I think it just, your clothing, what you get in your boots.
I know that.
There's nothing in the policy.
There's no policy.
Well, no, that was a discussion with Mike, that whether we should
OSHA
put something.
OSHA doesn't regulate us in the town garage.
No.
No. But if the town wants to make it mandatory, then we get steel toe, then we get steel toe.
Well, I don't, I'm gonna defer to somebody who would be better versed to talk about it.
And, you know, my thought on it would be if you go this route, potentially have kind of like what the expected dress code is. So that the employees know what type of, gear they should be purchasing with that money. And so they know what they're expected to show up wearing day in and day out. And that way they can use the stipend in order to satisfy that, so that somebody's not showing up in shorts and flip-flops if you're expecting them to show up in jeans.
All right, so you're just saying basically put it on paper on what they can.
Right. Yeah, I want them to know, here's what you wear when you're in the shop.
Yeah, okay.
Right now, it's being provided for them, so they know what they're gonna be expected to wear.
Okay.
Here, I would say, if you go this route, to give them some guidance on, this is how we're expecting you to dress, and it's, whatever, for safety, professionalism, whatever it might be, that you have the guidelines for that in place.
Just like slip on rubber boots over, they're leather boots when you get into a pit full of water and stuff like that. That might be an option they should have.
Yeah, if we get into a pit like that, something like that, maybe I can supply those boots where they can switch out, so they don't get their own soaking wet or something like that. But can you write something up like that, Mike? And
Yeah,
I can get a hold of you and,
yeah, I want to work with you on it.
Okay.
It's, in essence, it's what you think is necessary for them to be able to do the job in a safe manner.
okay,
Without having to either overpay for a service or, leave the employee kind of in the lurch for some sort of shortfall. So, I think if you and I work together on it.
I'll make one comment. I think it should worry about the color. Having somebody coming in red and then somebody else coming in green. Try to keep the color dark blue or
I down at the other building, they're all different colors. I mean, I don't think I can tell them what color to wear.
all right.
As long as they don't come in with ripped holy jeans and stuff like that.
I think Mr. Merlino's comment on standardization isn't really far off the way it should be. It gives professional atmosphere and look, and people can identify them as workers for safety aspects when they're working on the side of the road. So I think he's onto something, Ron, whether,
Well, if you want to do that, then I just make it mandatory. They gotta wear the uniforms they have now then. If that's the way you want to go.
I didn't say that's the way I want to go. I just said, I don't think Mr. Merlino was off.
Somebody buys green pants and gonna be wearing them, somebody else has red pants on. I mean, as out in public, I know you laugh at it, but it could happen.
The thing now, as it is now, though, not everybody wears uniforms every single day, so there's days that people don't have the same clothes on that other people do. So even with the uniforms, everybody is not uniform in what they're wearing every day.
If we're paying for the uniforms, why aren't they wearing them?
Sometimes we don't get our uniforms back in a timely manner.
Or they don't like the way they fit. They're too tight.
And they should order new stuff.
So,
Let it come out of their end of it.
but if they got,
That's the whole purpose of us paying for a uniform, is so that everybody is dressed the same.
There is times though that you exchange your clothes and they don't come back for 2 to 3 weeks.
And then maybe we'll look into a different company.
If you get someone that manufactures t-shirts like they do down there, that everybody has the same
Yeah.
color.
yeah, that,
They can call and say, listen, I need
Yeah.
5 XLs or whatever you are.
and 99% they're wearing just blue jeans, so.
Right, yeah.
And then we could all do orange shirts during and maybe just blue sweatshirts during the winter, all winter or something. We can do that.
There should be some type of standardization.
Is Hadley over there?
This ain't Hadley. I don't look at Hadley.
I just question you because your son-in-law works there, so.
That's a different town, different county.
He does have uniform.
I think they do that, yeah, they do, and I don't,
Yes, they do.
is everyone wearing them every day?
No,
It's just an option,
Sorry I
because.
brought it up.
What?
I'm sorry I brought it up. Let's move on.
I'm tired of the guys complaining that you don't fit right, or they're baggy, or they're too tight. So here, buy your own that you like, they fit you good, and stop the complaining. So, if the board wants to go that way, we go that way, if not, we keep the uniforms.
How many sets of uniforms do they get? How many pairs of pants and shirts
9.
per week?
It's 9, but they.
It's 9, period, but sometimes we bring them in to get clean, they don't get them back the next week.
You don't, I think they cut that down to 6 or 7 or something.
I think it's 9, because when we first started, it was 11.
In other words, the guys that bring in their clothes, they drop them in a bin,
Yeah,
say on Monday,
he picks them up every Wednesday.
every Wednesday, and you're saying they don't get them back?
Sometimes they don't come back for 2 weeks.
Then
I don't know if they get lost down there, if they just get misplaced or what, but
Who are you dealing with, Ron?
getting first. It's just an option.
I think it's a good idea. The savings are worthwhile. Just
yeah,
want
just
to-
go on there,
Yeah,
tell
but-
all jeans, come up with a quick cheat sheet. Say, you
So
know,
we can do
you're
it.
gonna all wear jeans, you're gonna all wear work boots. As you said, go on there in the summertime, get them the neon green shirts or neon orange shirts.
I think,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure that I can hook you up on the deal from up north.
The town used to buy our own shirts for us, separate from the uniforms. They didn't do it this year, but in the years past,
they have, yeah.
And the t-shirts are like $7 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good thing. We get even more. She might come down one and price.
Well, the other department, they're for it too, so, it's up to you. Guys, if you wanna go that way or not, it doesn't make a difference.
You have to sign the contract with them.
Every time he comes, he asks for it, and I put him off, but, if you give me the okay to cancel, I'll tell him next time I see him. And then
The only other question I have now, when you cancel it, or we cancel it, these guys have to return
yeah,
It's gonna be a hefty bill.
and what happens if they don't have everything that they need? Who's gonna pay for it?
we somehow, some way get it out of them,
well,
whatever way.
I
Did
can
we ever
honestly
get
say
the
I'm
other
not-
one?
Did they sign for them? Did they sign for responsibility for 9 shirts, 9 pants? So you ain't getting it.
Yeah, because I can honestly say when
Right.
another employee that worked there, shirts of mine came up missing, and there's people in the town that said that they had my town shirts. So I don't have them to return them.
It's gonna be a big bill. You might want to find out. what that's
For the
gonna be.
one, if everyone doesn't have,
Right.
I think we'll have most of them.
Is there a condition clause around if they're ripped, torn? Dirty, whatever.
I'm not sure.
I had that problem in the first year. I was missing towels, they were expensive.
They might hit us for something that's ripped or something.
I don't think there's one in condition, it's just one on piece. You got 6 pair of pants, you had to return 6 pair of pants. All right,
Is that, where are we going with that, just so I know? So I can tell the guy,
well,
Have you talked to your guys about it, Ronnie?
all my guys,
Yes,
they wanna get rid of them.
they do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, as long as you come, I don't have an issue with that, Ronnie,
Yeah.
as long as you come up with. Like Gene was saying, something kind of standard, where everybody's wearing, blue jeans and work boots, you know what I'm saying? I don't have an issue with that. But before they get reimbursed for that 500.
Yeah.
We want to see where they spent.
Yeah,
500.
yeah,
I'm not
that's
gonna
what-
just give them a check for
No,
500
no,
bucks.
no, it's gonna be distributed by receipt. They bring a receipt and then they'll get reimbursed.
There could be some years that people didn't reach their threshold too, that they only spent 300 instead of 500.
Right. But before they
It's
get
not,
reimbursed.
it's not a little handout bonus or nothing like that.
I don't have a problem with it.
all right, so we want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, maybe.
We get a second? Got a second by Dan.
What's the motion? I'm sorry.
To go-
Terminate the contract.
Nominate
Yes.
the contract and go,
turn in a receipt for what they buy and cover.
Up to,
500.
Should be something like that, up to 5. See how it works for the next year.
All right, I brought,
got to vote on it.
oh, all right, sorry, Sid.
Is it good, Ron, would you prefer a certain time of year that you're gonna do this reimbursement, or is it gonna be open 52 weeks a year for people to do that? Normally, there's between January and March, first quarter is when you buy all your
That's a
clothes.
good question, I hadn't thought
I'm
about.
just saying,
that.
before we start passing stuff, we should probably figure something out, right?
Give them like a time frame, 6 month time.
I don't know, whatever you want. I'm just saying, because you're gonna be doing paperwork all year long. If not, from every one of your guys that buys a pair of pants, you're gonna be filling out a voucher or whatever, you know? It could be a little tedious for you, as busy as you are.
Yeah, I say we start January 1st and then we give them 6 months.
6
I
months.
think that's long enough, right?
The only thing
You're
that
the
I
one that
see-
has to do it, not me.
the only thing that I see wrong with that is if come June 1st or whatever, if that's the deadline, and you didn't use all your money and say August, you've got 3 pairs of pants that are ripped and dirty and you want to exchange them for the end of the year. You wouldn't be able to do it.
That's why they need to be more careful and take care of them, I guess, right?
That's up to you.
And I think that they buy their own gloves with this too. I'm always getting hammered for gloves. You got a pair of gloves, I don't think by the state law, I gotta supply gloves, do I? Just safety stuff, right? I think that might be considered safety. That might be. It might be. I look into it. Well, I think they get 5 pairs of gloves a year. Five pairs? Jeez. That's pretty, you're pretty generous. All right, well, maybe Lord can look into that. If I have to supply gloves, I gotta supply gloves. My last thing is,
Wait a minute, we have a motion
Oh,
and a
sorry.
second to terminate UniFirst agreement and proceed to a clothing reimbursement system up to $500 for highway and building and grounds employees.
Starting the first of the year.
starting the first of the year. Yeah, 6 months.
When would we have to return our uniforms? So,
First of the year.
Yeah,
Or whenever that cycle is.
I would say so.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever there's a cycle is to where they come pick things up. That's what I would say. Want to make sure you got everything there.
I would say, tell all the employees before the first of the year.
I mean, if you tell Henry that you're canceling the thing, he might ask for that the next time he comes.
I think we're moving quickly myself. We don't know what the conditions, if there's a condition of the clothes that they have to be in. Ask everybody what they have first, find out how much each shirt's worth, each pants worth. I love the idea, but I think we're really moving quickly.
All right,
here on it.
let's table.
It's my
it till-
opinion anyway.
Let's table until next month. Let me ask Henry a few I don't know how friendly he's gonna get. He's gonna be about it because I think he's
It's not,
Hey,
it's
this
not gonna
way.
be perfect.
so.
Try to get an inventory from you guys, then you'll know how much.
It should be in the contract too, Ron. It should, right? I mean, it should be in there as to what everything's worth, you know, if it gets destroyed or lost or if not, it's not a very good contract because you got to protect
I got it
yourself.
right here, but it's kind of hard to understand. To
Well,
me.
we don't need to do it right now, but I'm just saying it's,
So we're gonna table that?
Yeah, let's table it, like Mike said, let me see what I can find out. Yeah, we should.
Make a motion to table.
That's what I find.
I'll second it, let's go.
Second. Okay, I think we take.
Yes, okay. I think that's
All right, Ron, are you finished with your?
Last week I also talked about a hot box. It's up to you guys. It's just something that I can buy with my chips money, if we want to go that way or not. It's better than putting this crappy coal patch in It's up to you. If you want more answers, we put this off, we put it off.
Did you ask Andy about the shared services?
I called him the other day, but he wasn't there. Didn't answer.
He's out this week.
I don't know if we'd be able to do shared service on the payment on that. Cause it's gotta be new to buy the chips, and I think you have to own it for so many years. I don't know how the payment would be split, you know what I mean? So,
We have an attorney. that can help.
Make a motion until we figure out more of that stuff on until next month, okay?
okay, that's fine.
You okay?
Ready?
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
It's just, if we wait, the payment for that to come out of chips, it might be in the following year, because I have to have all my paperwork in December something. I can't remember the exact date, but we missed this date to get reimbursed by December because of invoices still out from Palladi and joining and all that. So the payment might just, it might not come out the right this year's chips. If we
Let's go
wait.
back to that, thinking about that wish list for next year.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, if we don't do it this year, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm good.
Thank you. Town clerk Cynthia.
Okay, I believe I gave my monthly report to supervisor to you prior to this meeting. So the board does have that. I have Karen's zoning report for October that I've also distributed to the town board. I also gave you this organizational analysis, which is the general code. It is the steps that were due November 12th. I sent an email today asking for an extension of time on that. I don't really know what exactly to move forward on here. I know there's a resolution back a ways that there was going to be an attorney hired part-time to work with this. We haven't done that, and I'm not saying that I'm not capable of working on this with input from others. So I just wanted to give you this and let you see, what phase one requires on this. It's pretty much questions that we can say yes, no to, but one example in there is the Mount Luzerne Plan Development District. Do you want that in your code? They specifically asked that. So it's that type of stuff, and a lot of it is just very simple stuff. But so I gave it to you because I wanted you to see what it was. I've mentioned it a couple of times. So now I'm mentioning it again. I gave you a letter that I received today, interest in the zoning board of appeals. And I also had discussed the water situation at the Holy Mother and Child Parish. We have this letter from Mike Goodhart. He wants us to go back and review the billing and make some kind of adjustment. I don't know how far back billing I have, certainly not to the day we installed water meters. Those records don't go back that far anymore. So I told him that I would, if you want to make a resolution as a water board, to right this wrong based on the amount of money that I can determine, maybe we could do that.
Well, you could go 7 years as well. That's what we should go by, 7 years then. That's
And they may not have been over the 125 all those times either. There might just be a couple of times that may have happened because the meters were measuring water going through one and then measuring that water going through two. So now I asked today, I was asked again about Half Mile, and I had Mr. Phil think his last name is Mark Casey, on the phone and asked him also for a letter asking for this fix over there, because I guess the setup is similar to what happened here over there. Okay? I think that's all I have.
So do you want to wait to resolve those till the next meeting?
We pushed pretty good on the capital fund.
On the water board?
Yeah.
An adjustment on that?
Any motion? I'll second that.
That's to go into the water.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so if you're agreeable to granting this request, I know that it's been taken care of. And his crew went there and fixed whatever happened there. And the request is reimbursement for any extra charge on the water as a result of this. And going back as far as I can in our records to see what that would amount to.
Any thoughts down there?
All in favor, any questions?
I would say we do the 6 years then. At 125.
If it's over 125. They don't dispute that they owe the 125 on each meter,
Oh, okay.
but there could have been instances where they were over as a result of the way that it measured. I don't think the church is used year-round.
Been a while.
So, resolution to look back 6 years. Water bills. And make the necessary adjustment.
Yeah. We need a motion, and I'll make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Molino, Councilman Fazio. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried 5-0. Okay, thank you. And when I hear from Mr. Marquesi, I'll let you know. I think that's all I have, other than you'll be helping me with this payment plan. That's the routine.
Yes.
Okay, because he's called me about that too, and I told him we were gonna do that. Thank you.
You want to go out of the water board too?
I'll make that motion, go out of the water board.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Right.
Okay, just a couple of things that I have too. Number one, Department Mitchell, about that mobile unit. It's gonna be here, Thursday. And Friday the 12th, the 11th to 12th. Now, town hall is closed Thursday. They know that. And they're gonna do their own publicity on it. It's gonna be hours from 10 to 2, just let people walk through it and look at it.
The internet's all set for it too.
Mhm.
They fixed the internet yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. The only other thing too, on those septic tank, things for the county, there's 2 public hearings coming up. One is Wednesday, November 17th at 7 p.m. with Town Hall. And the second one is Friday, November the 19th, 10 a.m. Warren County Municipal Center. If anybody's interested in the public hearing, go there.
You know, talking about septic things, we should look into that at the public beach, at the big beach, replacing that tank. I think they said we could get it for under 1,500, so maybe have Ronnie and his guys do the work to it when you're caught up.
It was now or early spring before the beach opens.
Yeah. For people to get back up there.
Let's see, what else did I have? And I told you about grant application in for the water. And the letters that went out to important people to get their support. We'll have to see how that works out.
What happened with the grants? I didn't hear about that.
Tracy, she sent out letters to like Dan Stagg, some of the Stefanik and the whole crew to support it.
Okay.
Because
Through Cedarwood,
grant you need a letters of support.
through Cedarwood.
Hmm?
For Cedarwood too.
Well, someone's doing it,
Yeah, okay.
but they don't. Most of those people usually send like a letter saying, you know, they wish support, especially for water, stuff like that, they wouldn't be against it.
Do we get a report from her that often? I haven't seen it.
I'm sorry.
In regards to grants she's looking for us or stuff like that.
I'm losing, what, I can't hear, I'm sorry.
Our grant writer,
Right,
she's working on a number of things, you're saying.
right now she's working on the water.
Okay, is that the only one she's working on, or? I'm just curious what other one she's working on. You know, is there other monies out there possibly?
She keeps looking, so I haven't heard anything, but, right now she's working on that 2.2 million for the water. That's important, we gotta get
Of
that.
course it is.
All right, I got one last thing. I don't know how many people here know that an email was sent out to a lot of people in this town in Hadley, about the dam. It went out by Save Lake Luzerne 1@gmail.com. Does anybody, I know you said the other day you never got one. Do you know anything about it?
I didn't get one either.
No, Mike, you know anything about it?
I didn't get one.
You didn't get one. All right. Well, then I'd like to make a resolution that we have the town attorney check into that. I did speak to state police officers about it. I'm checking in with the state itself. I think everybody tells me you better get an attorney, so. I'd like to have this firm work with us on trying to find out who sent that email. Because it was used, it came out of all the emails that we had on the server here for years, and a lot of people were complaining because they didn't want their emails out unless it was something for the town. Like Luzerne. This was more of an email that was against me, so. So I don't know what you gentlemen feel. I'd like to get our attorneys, whoever would be to look into it and see if we can find out where it came from. Yes, no?
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Everybody all right with it? Mike, you all right?
Absolutely.
So we'll work on something. We'll work on it next week. Okay?
Did you hear from CCL?
I called twice today. We didn't get an answer.
Did you check with the ones that John had? John
No.
gave you names, because he had a couple guys that,
We talked about it, but I didn't get
did
any.
you get a name?
I never got names from.
I think I could probably send it tomorrow.
If you want to send it, I'll call
Have you set up anything with any engineers on the dam since we're on that?
That's what we're just talking.
That's what we're talking about. We had the guy from CP Bay come and look at it, but you know, this time of year with the water going over, it's the same as it was in August, the water really going over, it's hard to see where. But this guy said that the dam wasn't, and I was trying to get a letter for that.
Still gotta get back to DEC though.
Yeah. Well, we wrote the first, I'm just trying to get these engineers on board. Nobody returns calls. It's,
Gene, how could, yeah, I'm gonna ask an obvious question. I know you're gonna be mad, but how are we not having an annual certification since 2012 on that dam?
well, I think that's wrong, I'll be honest with you, Mike. They were here right at the end of 2000.
What's wrong, the DEC report, you mean?
DEC, yeah.
Because, I mean, that's a fair question, you know what I mean? And I'm not blaming anybody, because I don't know who to blame. I'm not either. I wasn't
They
either,
have
Gene.
something wrong, because we have pictures, I have pictures here of when we were working on that dam back at the end of 2017 or 18.
Right.
17.
Yeah, but just doing work on it doesn't provide AC, does it?
They were here.
I'm just
There was a
asking.
young
I'm just
lady
asking.
here, then she went on maternity leave, and then she had a year off. So I think there's some record someplace, and I'm trying to find that out.
Hopefully, yeah.
Not with us, but with them.
Good.
And we had them here twice. We had them on home tour 2015, we have a report, and we had them here in 2017 going into 18.
But it's supposed to be done every year though, right?
Well,
That's why they call it an annual certification.
you're probably right.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like, I don't have John. I can't give you a name, right?
Yeah, we get the name. We set something up, we'll go with them right
It
away.
wasn't
All right. We will open it back up to the floor to the public. Anybody has any questions, please state your name.
Got,
A little louder.
yeah, I'll get it set up. First one I see with his hand up is Mr. Goldberg. That's on mute.
Mr. Goldberg, are you on?
Yes, Supervisor Molino, can you hear me?
Yep, you're doing good.
Further to what you just brought up about a possible breach in our systems in the town, our computer system in the town, who is our systems administrator? Do we have one? Anybody?
Good administrator,
I
right?
am, yep.
So you know nothing about it, you said?
About the system itself?
Yeah, well, if somebody had to get in to get those emails out, and that's.
No, and I'm not, let me go on, Gene. Let me go on before you go. Mr. Fazio, are you responsible as, I'm just naming a title, systems administrator for the town? I'm sorry?
Not that I know of. I just agreed to help, that's all.
Okay. So there is no description of a systems administrator for a job. The town has never assigned anybody as an overall systems administrator. Fine. Well, most organizations that have computers in towns have somebody responsible for role security, including access or denial to certain files, data. And that responsibility also includes the role of controlling passwords into the system. Is there anybody there who currently controls the passwords for the employees? Changing passwords, allowing passwords, denying them?
Passwords for employees, absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I can't hear that.
Not for the employees, but for the.
Gene, if you have a question, why don't you just ask me instead of having your people do
I'm answering, trying to help them.
it? I guess.
Do you have?
You don't, Mr. Fazio, you don't like the way I explain myself? Is that
I
it?
just didn't understand the question, that's all.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So there's nobody responsible in town for allowing access or denying access to certain files and data. Okay. As Gene said, many in the town received this email, this damning email that the sky was falling and that the dam was going to break and all your boats were going to float down the Hudson River. And as part of this email, and look in your spam folders, you all got it. They condemned Supervisor Merlino unmercifully. Now, this was an outside organization that existed for one day and one day only. It was named Save Lake Luzerne. 2 days before that, we understand that a couple of members of the town board, councilmen, went along the lake, Lake Luzerne, telling homeowners, you better get your boats out of there because there's going to be a break in that dam. That's our understanding.
Mr. Goldberg, I just went to my mother who lives below
Yeah.
that dam.
I didn't hear it, I'm sorry.
Nobody went to anybody's house. I went to my mother's house because I was concerned because she was below it. I didn't go to anybody else's house. That was me.
All right.
But you didn't get an email?
What is
How do
the
you know
object
about
of
it?
what you're trying to get?
We got
How
the
did I get it?
report
How did I get
in
it?
our mailbox.
It was in our mailbox.
All right. Okay.
That was the only talk that,
Fine. That's fine.
and I think that any normal person would do that. If your mother lived down there, you would be down there as well.
Well, let me say this. It is apparent to many, many people in this town that all of a sudden they received from a fly-by-night Gmail account condemning the supervisor 2 days before the election. Where did those emails come from? they're either a breach into our system because there is a file for emergency information, for not necessarily emergency information, but the town has to know something is happening. That was always available to a couple of the employees. All of a sudden, it was taken away from them. They cannot get into that file. After that email came out, the following day, Supervisor Merlino wanted to respond to that. He was denied the password to the file, the email file. He was denied it by Mr. Fazio.
Gene, is that true?
That's not true. Wait a
Thank
minute.
you.
I tried to get into that, but the email has been changed and the office could not get me into that site.
Just so I can clear that up.
Then
Can I clear that up for a second, Mr. Goldberg, if you don't mind me jumping
I
in here?
misunderstood that.
Okay, let me just clear it up. In April, I think it was, Lori and I came in to this room. We were both sitting right where Pam and I are sitting right now, and we reset the whole thing because we were on a horrible plan where you could only email like once a month or something like that, and we changed it over to a whole different plan. Lori had the password as well. I don't know if she lost it, misplaced it, or whatever. That's fine, but just what you're saying, I know what road you're going down to, and you're off. You're way off, but I'm not going to interrupt your narrative, so please go
I
ahead.
spoke with Lori and she said, all of a sudden, I didn't have the ability to get into it. That's all I was told. She does, and she showed me that she couldn't get into it.
Okay, well, I changed it in April and nobody ever asked me for any password since April. And Lori was right here sitting next to me when I changed it. But if you have a question or an allegation you want to make, go ahead and make it.
No, I'm not making any allegation. What I'm asking for is a forensic investigation. Not just a lawyer, but a professional who can identify who touched that file on that day, who downloaded that data, set up a Gmail account, wrote a coruscating attack on the supervisor when the sky was not falling. And there is no danger to this town. That requires 2 days before the election, that requires a real investigation by a technical forensic expert. And that could be through the FBI, it could be through the Attorney General, I don't know. But let's not just let this go to the lawyer where it strings out. We think there was a breach. We're not saying who did the breach, and who used that set of email addresses to send out this false letter before the election. That's all I have to say. I'm not naming names. I thought that Mr. Merlino could not get the password to send out a response. If that's not true, I take that back.
I could not get it from Lori. She tried and it didn't work.
I know.
So what about our phone call, Mr. Merlino? We're going to recap that one when you called me and I told you I would come down and help you or send me whatever you wanted, and you never sent me anything.
Sent it because I found out the email, we couldn't get on it. I just left it alone.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I back off any of that implication. But there really is nobody in town who is in charge of security and passwords. Am I correct? And as you said, Mr. Fazio, nobody's asked you for a password.
Absolutely correct.
Is there one, Mike?
Is there a person in town that's in charge?
No, a password.
Of course there is. There has to be, yeah.
How many people know it?
Myself and Lori, as far as I know. I mean, I don't hand it out to anybody.
So I don't know.
No.
It's something that my only question to you, can that password be given to?
Of course.
the town clerk?
Yeah, it's the town's password. So anybody's entitled to it. It's the town's password. It's a public thing, you know?
Well, since you changed it in April, it doesn't sound like we needed it, so we didn't know the password was changed.
Yeah, Lori said that
Lori
she
did.
hasn't been able to send anything out since that change, since there was a change of a password. She hasn't gotten into the file. She could not, if she had to, send anything out. That should be cleared up.
Yeah. And all she had to do was pick up the phone and ask Mr. Goldberg, and she would have had the password. So, and she had it that day that I changed it, and she was sitting right next to me.
May I ask you to give her a call. You and I are talking.
Right now?
No,
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm not doing that, no.
why is that?
At 8:45 tonight, you want me to call her?
I did not say today. I
Oh,
said tomorrow, the next day. I don't care.
absolutely. I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anybody else?
Jim Niles is up next.
Go ahead, Jim.
Hold on, let me get him. Mr. Niles? Got to unmute yourself, Jim. You were unmuted.
Next.
Can you hear me
Unmute
now?
yourself. Got you. You muted yourself again, Jim. Jim, you muted yourself. There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pushing too many buttons.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. I was wondering if somebody could straighten out for me the budget approval process. Looking at the website, we've kind of missed 3 out of 4 of the dates that are on the website to get from start to finish on the budget. As I understand it, the budget was originally filed and then it was changed prior to the first workshop. We did have the first workshop on the 20th of October. Several changes were made, some requests were made, like let's get a list of officers and their compensation by line item, breakdowns. The highway department talked about some raises, and all of those changes were supposed to be made so that we could have the next meeting, next workshop on October 27th. That was changed to the 25th, and then that was canceled. To my knowledge, there still isn't a published revision. There was supposed to be a public hearing on November 3rd. I don't know what happened to that. It didn't happen.
And, Jim, we moved to the preliminary. So there is a preliminary out there that we're gonna have a public hearing on Monday.
On the 15th.
Is it,
On the 15th, it's gonna be an early one at 6 o'clock. Is that right? Am I saying that right? For the budget?
at the last meeting, you set a public hearing for the 15th at 7 o'clock.
Is that,
7 o'clock.
okay, yeah.
Well, we have to work on the budget before we can have the public hearing.
Well, do you expect the public to be able to participate in this if they don't have it?
Yeah, okay, well, if the copies are ready, but
I believe Colleen's said
Colleen's
that
got the
today.
copies ready. Yes.
I looked at the website earlier today and it's the exact same one that was on there on the 20th.
The only real changes were in the highway.
Yeah, you can. I don't know.
Colleen sent them both.
He can pick up a copy of that at my office.
Well, during the October,
Mara, right in the office, Cindy has them.
what's the matter with the website?
That one's accurate too. That's the same one you pick up.
It's the same one that was on the 20th.
It's the
No,
one
it's
that's
not.
stamped is the one that's on the website.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah.
Because
And-
that's one we started with and you don't put the new one up. You don't do it in phases. You put that one up because that's the one that we made tentative.
Colleen sent the preliminary budget today. And I believe she got a response saying, okay,
It's not the one that was stamped though.
it's what you moved to preliminary for public hearing, which is no longer the stamped budget.
Were the October 20 suggestions incorporated into the latest version you're talking about?
Not line by line, I don't believe, right?
Yes, it was.
We have a summary sheet for it though.
During the October 20th meeting, it was discussed that a list of officers and their compensation by line item should be prepared. I think it was Councilman Lewandowski brought that up. It was brought up that there should be some breakdowns of some of the items. And I think it was Linda said, you know, she can't put it in the state form, but she could come up with a separate sheet to tell us that kind of stuff. The only reason I'm asking this, guys, is this. two or three things came up tonight. And I pull out the budget and I try to figure out where in this budget do those things fit in that we're voting on. And it's pretty hard to figure that out. Like the veterinary services, where is that in the budget? I'm sure it's in there. But when stuff comes up and you got to make a quick decision, how can you do it with a budget that's so lumped together? I'd be happy to swing over to the town hall if there's a printed one I can pick up and look at. But it's not on a website, and the dates on the website are still wrong.
Oh, that latest budget thing.
Right.
Did it or didn't?
What are you saying?
The latest budget, did it go on the website or did?
Well, Colleen's, my understanding is she sent it late this afternoon. I had her move the figures to preliminary column for the public hearing, and she sent it. I think Colleen also did some kind of breakdown for you.
She did.
She did.
She did.
But Jim, you can stop by and pick that up.
Okay, I will. I'll stop by tomorrow.
Okay.
And one other little thing, the grant writer, Tracy, I couldn't hear you when you talked about that briefly. It's my understanding she is working on, or maybe finished, the grant application to redo the master comprehensive plan. I don't know if that's what you said when you were asked what's she working on.
Yeah, we know that one's in.
Yeah, that's in there, but
We should hear about that
gotten
soon,
anything
yeah.
back.
Okay. And my last comment is, where are we at with hiring a new milfoil harvesting contractor?
I can't hear.
Where are we at with hiring a new milfoil contractor?
I think the APA was, or the APA was gonna be back to us with names. Is that how it went?
I wasn't.
Yeah, according to Tracy, Gene, they were sent to you.
Sent to me.
Yeah, I just, we lost a whole year last year. I don't want to wait till spring.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna Covell. Unmute yourself, please, Donna. Got to unmute yourself, please, Donna. There you go.
Okay, all right, tonight was a very confusing meeting, to say the least. I'm not understanding, are we having agenda meetings now? Are we not having agenda meetings? Are resolutions being added at the end? What, I don't understand what's going on. I mean, I always thought that there had to be a town clerk or somebody there to record when you make resolutions, and now they're just being thrown in at the end. What is the reason for having an agenda meeting if you're just throwing things in at the end so nobody can, the public cannot discuss them because we don't know. We don't know that you guys are going to discuss this. How can we input? Where's all this transparency that we were told we were going to get? Can anyone comment?
Things are a little more transparent now than they were back in May.
Transparent would have been nice to know you guys were going to be discussing these 2 or 3 things you threw in at the end of the agenda, the resolutions. That would have been nice to know. That would have been transparent, but no. Excuse me?
Would have been nice to have a list of resolutions before we got here also.
I saw it. You don't even remember making resolutions like the one you did accepting the title for the lawnmower. That was resolution 96. Paul Lewandowski made the motion and Mike Fazio accepted it. So, and you said, oh no, we never had a resolution. Yeah, we did. So you guys better start getting on the ball and remembering what you did and what you didn't do, and all this being transparent. That wasn't very transparent. And do we have a deputy supervisor or we do not? I don't even understand that.
Or we said it wasn't delivered.
do we have a deputy supervisor or do we not?
Do not.
Okay. That's all I needed to know. Good night, guys.
Rail Zubel, you can unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, everybody. Rail Zool, East River Drive, Lake Luzerne. I would like to thank Mr. Niles for bringing up some great points on the budget. But as a taxpayer, it was pretty embarrassing when he asked the question, all you guys kind of had the deer in the headlights look. The budget is a very important thing. And Jim's not even on the board. And Jim was asking questions that board members should have answers for. And this is going to go over to Cindy. You said Colleen sent the budget out. Who did she send it to?
To have it put on the website. That's my understanding late this afternoon.
Oh, Ed didn't answer my question. A name of who she sent it to.
He wants Jamie's name. It's Jamie, Rail.
So is she not doing her job?
She said she sent it late. I'll let Cindy answer because I'm not going to. It's not worthy of an answer, but go ahead, Cindy.
Very good.
This afternoon, Colleen and I discussed the preliminary budget. And I asked her to be sure she brought those numbers over to the column that says preliminary, because we have advertised a public hearing on a preliminary budget. And Colleen said that she sent it to be put up on the website.
Okay, so
That's all I can tell you.
So Colleen did send it to somebody, but it did not make it to the website.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And here's
But
my
it's
last question.
in my office, if you want a copy of it.
No, it like Mr. Niles said, it should be on the website. So people don't have to go to the office. You know, we're amidst this COVID scare right now. People want to stay home. I mean, just like these Zoom meetings, people want to stay home. They should have access to it from their computer. You guys, the board is suppressing the public, not allowing us to come to the meetings, but yet you want us to come to the town hall and pick up paperwork. You know, it's like the left hand doesn't really know what the right hand is doing. But here's my next question. This new health insurance policy that the board just approved, does it cover temporary employees?
Not board members, no.
He said temporary employees. He didn't say.
No, temporary employees, no. If you don't
It does
work-
not.
Don't work 30 hours or more, you're not entitled to health insurance.
Okay, was there a resolution passed around 2011 that deemed all board members temporary employees? That's a quick yes or no, because I foiled it and Cindy sent me the resolution. It's just, is anybody on that board aware of a resolution that deemed board members as temporary employees? That's a yes or no.
No, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Anybody else in the room, or do we all get the deer in the headlights look?
You aware of
The
it?
room goes silent here.
We took it away from all the board members. As they-
Well, tell the rail. He's very
Talk
interested
to
in this.
Rail.
No,
What
we
happened?
did, we did pass a resolution. We did pass-
Was a resolution passed that deemed town board members as temporary employees?
Yes,
Okay, and does the town's health insurance cover temporary employees?
wait, let me finish. That resolution read, town board members would continue getting the health insurance until they either lose an election, retire from the job, the next person that comes on does not get it.
Okay, I'm asking two questions. We got one of them answered, that town board members are considered temporary employees. The
Right?
next question is, does our specific carrier with a policy that they're offering our town, do they cover temporary employees?
The policy that they have says they do not put temporary employees on health.
Okay. So if board members are temporary employees and our policy does not cover temporary employees, is this insurance fraud? The room goes silent again. Come on, boys.
That's a hard question to answer.
We don't have it in front of you, number one.
Yeah.
From the
Can
state.
the attorney help out here?
Yeah,
What is, you,
I'm not here to answer your question. Yeah, I'm not here to answer your questions on that. If you have
okay,
concerns about if the town has committed insurance fraud, we can either address that offline. You can send me what your concerns are. But I guess based on your interrogation, I can't give you an answer.
okay, I am going to right now in a public forum, I am going to please ask the town board to investigate Danny Waterhouse's insurance since 2011. I want to know if those forms were filled out right. I want to know if the taxpayers' dollars were paying for his health insurance when they shouldn't have been. I've laid it out. Here is what I'm putting together. The town board members are deemed temporary employees per a resolution in 2011. There's no denying that.
By the state law. State
What?
law says, might want to look up state law.
I'm asking the board to please look into this. What it sounds like to me, it sounds like, hush, hush, you don't interrupt people when they're talking.
Look at
Oh,
state law.
I think,
I'm not deemed a temporary employee by the state. I'm an elected official.
Yes.
Look, state law, the town doesn't supersede state law.
What do you mean?
What I mean is the state supersedes us. Whatever we do, we can't, deviate from the state law. State
Yeah,
law
but
is elected official.
But in 2011,
You don't get it.
the Lake Luzerne Town Board deemed town board members temporary employees. I'm just asking the attorney to please look into this. You see where I'm going with it. A lot of money has been spent here. On the top of every health insurance form, there's a series of little boxes that say full-time or part-time, temporary, etc. If our health insurance company does not cover temporary employees and the town board members are temporary employees, and on the top of that little box, somebody checked that Danny Waterhouse was full-time, that should be some form of insurance fraud. Can you please look into that for me?
really, you're missing the situation. We
No,
are.
I'm not. I'm paying my taxes on time is what I'm doing, bud.
We are elected officials, and that's where you're missing it, sir.
Do you guys want me to bring up to the town hall, Cindy, can you please refer to the FOIL that I requested of you?
I don't have it in front of me, and my recollection of that is, does that go from a certain date forward?
Yeah, 2011 forward.
Does it say anything about elected officials?
It said elected officials are hereby deemed temporary employees.
I'd have to look at it, Rail. I don't have it in front of me.
I wish you guys would look into that, because there's something that's not right here. And I'll tell you, it's resolution number 67 of 2011. Want me to read it to you guys? Now, therefore, it be resolved that the town board hereby declares that as of July 11th, 2100, which is a spelling error, no health insurance benefits will be provided by the town to any part-time employees who is hired or appointed.
Okay, that's hired or appointed, that's not elected.
I'm just asking you guys to please look into it, that's all. Please spend a couple minutes to investigate. I think the town has invested a lot of money where they didn't need to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice night, guys.
Patricia?
I have a couple of things. First of all, I want to say that the audio tonight seems to be a little bit better than it's been in the past, and I appreciate that, but it's still not terrific. There are still people I can't hear. I don't understand why it's so difficult, but not everybody perhaps has a laptop, but for those who did, if you just would bring it in and sign on the way the rest of us sign on, we would be able to see you better, and we would certainly be able to hear you better. Another thing is the meeting minutes seem to be getting on the website a lot more quickly than before, so I appreciate that. And I have not checked it the last couple of days, but the last time I did check, there was still no minutes posted for the September board meeting. So I hope those will be posted soon. And one other thing, I just have a question. I want to know whether or not the supervisor and all the board members have gone through the required sexual harassment training.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
About a year ago.
Do I have 5 yeses on that?
Yeah, it was done about a year ago, maybe a little more, and it's probably due again before the end of the year or early into next year.
Thank you.
Mr. Goldberg? Mr. Goldberg,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
When I completed my set of questions, I'm going to ask the board are you willing to go ahead and bring in a forensic technical person to investigate this? Mr. Merlino?
Well, that's why I asked the board to let me work with the new attorney and see how we gotta, who we have to bring in or how we have to handle it. Yes, I think it's gonna happen.
Do you need a motion?
We already did it.
We already
Already
did.
did it.
They did it.
I'm sorry?
They did make the motion and approve.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it then. Thank you.
That's it. I don't know, Rail, are you up again? Or do you want to, or did your hand still up?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I found it. It's Resolution 67 of 2011. Whereas town board members and justices, among others, are considered to be part-time employees of the town. You guys can look that up. It's, like I said, resolution number 67 of 2011. And that will be it. Thank you, guys. Any questions for me?
Any more, Mike?
That's it.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
No, executive session.
We gotta go to executive.
Okay, make a motion, go into executive session.
All the hands down.
Seconded by Paul, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
We got to let people know,
What it's for.
no, we're not coming back to do business or something like that, right?
That's what we do.
And there'll be no more business except to adjourn the meeting, time return from the executive session.
We're gonna do the